Hello, everyone, and welcome to the English to Take Away podcast. This is episode number 18. My name is Jordan. I am a content creator and English teacher. You may know me across social media platforms under the name English Lingo or English Lingo with Jordan. And I am joined by my fantastic co host, Richard, please.
Oh, thanks very much, Jordan. So I'm Richard, also known as the Grammar Goat on social media, and just like Jordan, I'm an English teacher and content creator. Jordan, it's great to get cracking with the episode. It's quite early morning here in England.
Yes.
It's freezing as well, mate. Like absolutely freezing. The temperature has really dropped here, and it feels like I'm back in winter time.
you you've got like some sort of is it like northeasterly wind or something like that going like I've been seeing the chill factor. My dad was telling me, he's like, oh yeah, it's 15 degrees but the wind is absolutely biting cold. It like goes through your bones basically.
Yeah, for sure. Last week I was outside in a t-shirt and shorts, and then
Yeah.
this week I've got the winter coat back out. I've been wearing my winter hat. It's freezing. It's absolutely freezing. What about with you? Is it almost the opposite, like too hot?
It is basically the polar opposite. We're into the summer season, so we're getting temperatures up to around sort of officially 31, 32. But generally speaking, those are taken mostly in the shade. Some places have reported temperatures of around 38, 40 in some places. So yeah, it's baking hot here. But luckily it's not too bad. We're doing okay, and there's a little bit of sprinkles of rain here and there, so it's not too dried out, which is nice. But yeah, it's really hot, very very hot indeed.
Because in some hot countries they have what's called a siesta, don't they, in the afternoon, where
Yes.
everything shuts down and you have a little nap or some relaxation time in like the hottest part of the day. Anything like that in the Philippines?
Not officially, no. I wouldn't say that it's similar to, like, for example, Spanish culture. But I believe that a lot of people try to avoid going out too much in the real heat. So from midday to 3, 4 o'clock, a lot of people try to stay in the shaded areas, maybe not do too much physical work, uh, because you could kill yourself through heat stroke. But yeah, I don't think there's officially any sort of siestas that people have here. It would make sense though. I would totally understand if people wanted to, because yeah, it drains your energy, doesn't it? Like, it's the opposite of being cold, of course. Like, when you're out in the heat, it feels like the energy is being sucked out of you, and you're being drained of any sort of energy that you have.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Although I do love the sun and sunny weather, it does make you feel so much better.
Yes.
Like this weather, English weather, grey, cold, it's not exactly inspiring. I guess you don't miss it, do you? Now you're not living in the UK.
No, I don't miss it. I
Yeah, yeah.
I joke. Maybe I mentioned this before, but I jokingly said to my dad that I don't know what a hoodie is anymore. Right? Like, he was wearing a hoodie while I was speaking on the phone to him a couple of weeks ago. I said, "What are you wearing?" Because it's a hoodie. I went, "I don't know what that is. I can't remember anything like that. I've been in shorts and a t-shirt for over a year." Uh, rubbing it in, just really rubbing it into him. This is a hot country, so yeah, he loves the heat. That's why I do it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I guess you have. You just permanently live in shorts and t-shirts. That must be very nice, actually.
It is. It's you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about what you're gonna wear. It's just the same kind of thing. Maybe after a few more years, I might think I'm getting bored of it, but I don't think I will. I really don't.
No, nice. Jordan, what have you been up to this week? Have you been up to anything
Yeah,
interesting or special?
not really anything too interesting or special. Um, but I've been looking into my visa, which is more of an importance than anything else. Um, so I've been basically trying to understand the sort of the process that I need to go through, um, what's necessary for me to obtain the visa that I'm going to be applying for. Um, but it turns out that I'll basically, without going into a long story, it turns out that we've got to exit the country. Basically, we're going to go and do a visa run. We're going to exit the country and then come back, and then I'm going to get a stamp, same as my daughter. We're both going to get a stamp, which allows us to stay in the Philippines for 1 year. And during that year, we're going to then go through the process of getting our visas, because otherwise we would have to extend it every 2 months, and we got to pay every 2 months, and it's going to become quite expensive. And I'd rather pay that money and go somewhere else for a few days, and then come back and sort out the visa afterwards. So yeah, we decided and booked, we're going to go to Bangkok next
Oh,
month.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow, Bangkok. Amazing. So how far is Bangkok from you, Jordan? How many hours on the plane is that?
It is around about 4 hours. Yeah, around about 4 hours. We've got to go from, so we live in Dumaguete area, so we got to go on a domestic flight to Cebu, which is 45 minutes, and then from Cebu to Thailand is around about three and a half hours, 4 hours, something like that. So not too long. Yeah, not too long at all.
Have you started looking into Bangkok a little bit and planning what you want to do there?
100%. Yeah, my one of my students actually, he and his partner spent, I want to say 2-3 weeks in Bangkok earlier this year. So I was straight on the messenger asking him, saying like where to go, what did you like, what are the things that you would recommend that I should go and do. So yeah, already starting to piece together like an itinerary of what we want to do. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, going to be fun. My wife has wanted to go to Bangkok for quite some time actually. And yeah, she wants to go and have a look at the markets and everything around there. So yeah, it's nice, and it all ties in quite well because it's her birthday at the end of this month.
Oh,
So
cool.
it kind of ties everything in really nicely with, celebrating her birthday, and we have to go and do a visa run as well. So yeah, it's not too bad. It's worked out well.
Oh, that's going to be very exciting. I'm excited to hear about your detailed plans once you
Yes.
finalize them, and I guess also your trip there. How long are you going to be in Bangkok? How long are you staying for?
4 days, I believe. four
Oh,
days.
nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
not
yeah,
not, not too
perfect.
long, but it's. I think it's not. It's not like it's going to be a very long holiday. It's just a short break, and yeah, I'm gonna scope out and enjoy it, and then if we like it, we can always go back at some point. And but yeah, I really want to video some content in Thailand and in the Philippines as well. I've been talking to my wife about interviewing people and trying to sort of get the natural vibe of English, similar to like what you've done in Sri Lanka and India before. I thought that was really cool. So I might try and pluck up the courage to do it.
Yeah, for sure. That's very. Oh, it sounds very, very exciting, Jordan.
Yeah,
Amazing,
cool.
amazing.
How about
Yeah, I
yourself?
think. Well,
Oh,
I was just gonna say, yeah, going back to what you were saying about a 4 day break in a
yeah.
city. I was reading an article. I was trying to find the word. Maybe you can find it for me. There's a. It's not, I guess it's not a craze, but it's something that many people are starting to do, where they go and visit a place, often a city, like for 24 hours. So
All right.
they'll leave their own country very, very early in the morning,
Yeah.
take like the first flight out. They'll arrive, they'll spend the day and the evening in the city that
Yep.
they're visiting, and then they'll fly back the same day. There's a word for it. I can't find it now. Just quickly
Ah.
googling, but
Yeah.
obviously like tiring, but you save a lot of money on, you don't need to spend money on accommodation, obviously,
Yes.
and I guess you sort of cram everything in. Everything's jam packed into one day, which
Yes.
it sounds very cool. Actually, I would love to try that at some point. What about you?
I think perhaps we could do that. Like, I mean, here in the Philippines, perhaps we could do that domestically. I think that would be really, really cool because there are so many places that we can visit in the Philippines that have airports, of course. But the only issue that we've got is that we would probably have to take a flight to a major airport first. So that would either be Manila or Cebu, and then we would have to fly again. So I like the idea. I think the idea is kind of cool. Like you limit the amount of luggage that you need to take. You can just take a hand, hand luggage. That's perfectly fine. Small little backpack or whatever. Um, but yeah, I like the idea. I think that's awesome. It's really really quite cool. And Europe is probably one of the best places to do it, right? Because you can easily get flights in and out of London.
Yeah, I mean, I guess essentially it's what business people do on a daily basis, isn't it? Really, in terms
Yeah,
of commuting across the channel into mainland Europe. But yeah, for me, also in terms of content creating, it's quite a cool idea because you could probably just spend one day in, you're right, in a European city and go there, film, and then get back the same day. So I might look into that actually later this year. I'm not sure where to go, but
yeah.
I might choose a destination and go for it.
I think what you should do, you should get a map of Europe and just throw a dart, and that's where you're going.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. I might do that. I might do that.
that
Absolutely.
that'd be
But
cool.
Bangkok sounds amazing anyway. So yeah, I'm really excited to hear all about that. That sounds
Absolutely.
brilliant,
And,
Jordan.
and they've got this dish that I really want to try. Um, I think it's some kind of papaya salad that they've got. It's quite famous. It's quite, I think, well known, and yeah, I really want to try it because a few people have told me about it before, and they said, "Oh, when you go there, you've got to try it. You've got to try it." So, yeah, I'm thinking about trying that there because we have papaya here in the Philippines, which is really nice, absolutely beautiful, but not. They don't make the dish. I think the same as it is in Thailand. So, yeah, I want to experience that. So I'm looking up also the different food to try as well, and want to. want to enjoy some good grub, as they say.
I thought that you were going to talk about a famous pizza restaurant there,
No.
like you did in Manila, when you went to the one in Manila. I thought you were going to say, "Oh, I want to go and try this pizza," because that would also be quite cool, wouldn't it? Every city
Yeah,
you visit, like bit like my quest for the perfect Hawaiian pizza that I think I've talked about.
absolutely.
You could copy that, couldn't you? But
Yes,
oh,
indeed.
that sounds very very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
my week has been okay. I have unfortunately sort of reignited my hobby, I guess, of picking up parking fines,
Oh,
which I guess if people remember from early on in the podcast, we
yeah,
talked a lot about drive-in and car park fines, didn't we? I
we did.
think in the
Yes.
early days of the podcast. But yeah, unfortunately, that dreaded letter came through the letterbox again, and it took me off guard as well because I just thought it was. I don't know what I thought it was. I wasn't expecting a parking fine. So opened the letter, saw the lovely black and white photo of me driving my car, um, and yeah, I just couldn't believe it. So I dropped my wife at the airport
Right,
a couple of weeks ago. She went back to visit her family in Poland, and they've changed the system at the airport in London, and
right,
there used to be barriers where when you exited the drop off zone,
right.
you would pay £7, which is a
Yep.
lot of money. You pay £7 at the barrier, Jordan,
Hmm.
as you left the drop off zone. Easy, no problem. They've got rid of the barriers now,
Right.
and they've got signs up saying make sure you pay online within
Yeah.
24 hours. But of course, I'm a busy person. I'm also a man, and I'm very forgetful as well. So like I drove through, dropped my wife off, drove out, thought, oh yeah, okay, I must remember, I'll go online and pay. And I just forgot, which
Yeah.
I'm sure hundreds, if not thousands of people have done
Yeah.
because it's kind of not the kind of thing that you would remember. And I got a £60 fine for that. So I've had to pay 60 quid, £60 to drop my wife off at the airport.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
can't believe it. Livid.
Yeah. Do you think though that they've done that on purpose? Like, I sometimes feel that when they make these changes, they kind of maybe think about like the psychology behind things and how can we make more money? Okay, yeah, if we tell them to pay online, then at least we've told them, but we know a lot of them will probably not pay online, therefore we can issue them a fine and we can make more money because of it. Like, do you reckon like that might be their process of thought, that they've done it on purpose to get more money?
I think probably, yeah, and I think they're making an absolute fortune as well. If you can imagine the
I
stream
want
of
to
cars.
use a phrase here just to stop you there. I want to use a shady
Go
gits. They are.
on. Lovely collocation, very nice collocation. They are shady gits. To be honest, I would switch out the word git for another word, but it might
Yeah,
get the podcast banned, so
yeah.
I won't say it. But yeah, they're making
Indeed.
a fortune, aren't they? They're making a fortune. It's just in my view, unfair, really. I think sixty
I
pounds is
I
crazy.
I don't like all of this fining stuff to do with parking and zonal parking. I just find it all really it's become too complicated now.
Mm.
And for people like anyone who goes to England and maybe wants to drive, I feel really sorry for them because they might turn up in a seaside town like mine in Eastbourne, and it's paid parking wherever you go now. When I grew up there, the seaside streets, the seaside roads were all free parking. You could park your car there, no problem, and it was great. Really, really, no problem whatsoever. But now everywhere is just paid parking. It's become too much, really. I think it's ludicrous. Like how many times people get fined for the same thing, and they've got to pay just to drop someone off is mental. Like that's just mental.
It is. What you're right. What must people think, visiting here? They must think we're completely
Yeah,
insane because in so many other countries, you don't have to pay for parking, do you? You can just park anywhere. It's not
yeah,
an issue.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, we've come on. We're probably sounding a bit like a broken record here, talking about this again. But
Indeed, yeah.
yeah, it was just I just wanted to get it off my chest, Jordan.
And
Talking to you about it, I feel a bit better now.
just
But
venting.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Old man venting. But
it reminds it reminds me. Did you ever used to watch the comedy sketch show Harry Enfield and Chums?
of course,
Oh,
yeah, of
brilliant!
course.
Do you remember the two characters that they had, the old gits that they sit in the park and just moan?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's exactly what
That's
we
what I've
are.
become. Yeah, that's what we are. Yeah, exactly.
It's brilliant, awesome.
Ah,
So news wise, did you come up with any interesting stories, or think of any stories that you've seen recently in the news?
yeah, I saw an interesting story, animal related. I think often our stories are animal related, aren't they? Because we're both big animal lovers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I saw a very interesting story this week about the dire wolf. Now,
Mm,
I'd never heard of the dire wolf before. It was a wolf that it went extinct, so it died out about
yeah.
10,000 years ago, and scientists have found its DNA in dire wolf bones, and they have mapped the dire wolf's DNA onto present day wolves, and they've basically created a dire wolf, and two dire wolves have been born. Little English for you there, wolves, so
Yes.
irregular plural.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that was a very interesting story for me because I think it throws up um, lots of ethical questions about
Yes.
science and playing God, and also implications for the future as well. What other animals that are extinct
Mm.
are going to be brought back, if that's at all possible? Did you see this story, Jordan, in the news?
I did, yeah, and I found it incredibly fascinating as well, because not only did they just recreate a dire wolf through a surrogate of like normal wolves that we have now, um, but they've basically been analyzing their behavior of a dire, and they are not interested in human contact whatsoever, apparently. So that was really fascinating for me, because generally when you get like an animal in captivity and it's reared by certain people, they are naturally drawn to those humans. Um, these two are not like that. They're independent, they go off on their own, they don't pay any attention to humans. So yeah, very interesting. And touching on the point that you made about playing God and what other animals might come about from this, I think a month ago I read another article that they were trying to sort of play. I say play around with. I loosely say it with woolly mammoth DNA, and they
Oh,
created a woolly mouse.
really?
Yes,
Wow.
they created mice that are very, very, very woolly and fluffy. So I don't know how far these scientists are going to go. And what do you think about the ethical situations attached to it? Do you agree that we should look into bringing back some of these species like the woolly mammoth?
I'm not sure, to be honest, where I stand on it,
Mm,
Jordan. I just and it's very interesting, isn't it? What's possible now with science, and yeah, I'm not too sure where I stand on it. I mean, I guess on one hand, bringing back animals that are extinct possibly is a good thing for sort of, I don't know, the animal kingdom and diversity
yeah,
in general. But it's a little also a little bit disturbing if you know of what's possible, I guess, and what they can do. Well, help me
yeah.
out here. What about you? What's your viewpoint on it?
I think it's fascinating and interesting from the point of view, like if you're into that kind of stuff, then you kind of want to see them. It's really really cool, but I also understand that it has major major implications for the animal kingdom nowadays. Like if you're going to bring back a dire wolf and let it loose, what is going to happen in the wild? Are they going to just ravage all of the other wolves
Mm.
that we have now, and you know they're going to die out, etc. I really don't know whether or not we should be bringing them back and actually putting them into the wild. Yeah, they they died out for a reason.
Exactly. I guess also you've got the issues of like spreading disease as well, haven't you? And if you start bringing back weird and wonderful animals from the past,
Yeah,
in terms
yeah,
of them carrying diseases and spreading diseases. Yeah, it's very very interesting. Many ethical questions raised by it, I think. It's also quite amusing to me that the dire wolf seems to be the exact opposite of my dog, Mika. Dire wolves not interested in human contact. My dog sort of never ever leaves me. She'll just appear out of nowhere wherever I am, basically. So it's quite funny. They're absolute, as you said earlier, polar opposites there.
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
they are.
interesting. Did you well, how about you? Did you see anything on social media or in the news this week that caught your eye?
Absolutely. So it's about a story in the Philippines, actually, and unfortunately, it is to do with another YouTuber, social media content creator, streamer. I think he is. He's what they call an IRL streamer, in real life streamer. Basically, they've got cameras and a backpack and they go around and live stream whatever they're doing at that time. Have you seen that kind of content before?
I've never actively watched it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think you've talked about it before,
yeah,
possibly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, the negatives of it.
yeah.
So I've got another negative, unfortunately, but it's basically come to light that this IRL streamer, he's an American Russian. His name is Vitali. Got something like 10, over 10 million subscribers or whatever um, on YouTube. He was causing unbelievable nuisance and just being rude to people, stealing just nominal things, but like stealing a fan from a work site and running off with it. It may seem silly and like not really that important, but when you're in a hot country and things like that, like that can really help people when they're working. And he goes and
Mm.
runs off with a fan and is acting a fool. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, he's been arrested for this, and the interesting part is that the Philippines have really decided to throw the book at him, and they're not going to give him any leeway whatsoever. They're not deporting him. They've said, we are not deporting you. And he now faces up to 24 years in prison.
For stealing a fan.
No, not just stealing a fan, but there were other, like, I think
Ah,
there
right.
are 5 charges that have been brought against him, um, and just generally disturbing the peace, acting a nuisance, and yeah, the fan was just one of those that he did.
Right.
But yeah, he's now basically been made an example of.
Mm.
So you can't be an idiot content creator and come to a country disrespecting local culture and the people. Yeah, so he's been made a massive example of. Yeah, what do you think about that when you when you heard about it?
I mean, that sounds a little bit harsh to me. 25 years
Yeah,
in jail. I mean, it's not like he's killed anyone, is it, or done anything
no,
ex like obviously you certainly shouldn't steal under any circumstances, especially not in a different country. Where there are, as you mentioned, like different cultural norms and expectations about how to behave. I think it's an example, isn't it, of social media just going mad.
yeah,
People so desperate for views and popularity and adoration on social media that they'll almost do anything to get that next viral video and that next hit of dopamine or whatever
yeah.
as a creator. Is he a young guy? Like, how old is he?
No, he's been a content creator for quite some time now. I don't know exactly how old he is. I can have a look at his age. I think he is. Let's have a look. He's in his 30s.
Okay,
Yeah, 33 years old.
he should know better then, really, shouldn't he? Doing things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
foolish, but also sounds quite harsh.
I,
That kind of jail sentence.
I think I think the the number is not necessarily going to be it. It's just like they've thrown it out there to say, okay, this could be the maximum, but I don't believe that that will be the case. What's really interesting for me is that they've said, I mean, the Philippine authorities have said, we're not deporting you, or we're
Mm.
refusing to deport you, because that's what he wants, because he feels, I mean, like the authorities feel that if they deport him, he's won. He's got what he wanted. He came here, he messed around with the people and was his stupid self, and then okay, bye bye Philippines, and I've got away with it again. And
Mm.
I think they've seen his record and that he's done that before in other countries, and they've said no, this time, we're not standing for that, and we want you to go through the legal process. And I don't think you will get the 24 years, but I think the worst part of it is that he's going into a normal prison. So he will be going and waiting for his process, like his court process, the procedures to start. And the trial date can be anything from 1 year away to 3 years away.
Wow.
there's a backup. There's a backlog of so many cases here that you have to wait a long time to have your trial, your hearing. So, yeah, I don't think that he will be out for at least a year to 3 years anyway because of that process time. But it's crazy, isn't it? Like how content creation goes mental. It's just weird how this.
Yeah, it is. That's a great story. Yeah, it's a great story actually. You be careful in Bangkok doing your street interviews, Jordan.
I'm too scared. I don't even know if I can do it. I don't know. I've not even attempted it here yet, and people are very friendly here. So I should try it here because I can maybe get used to it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You should definitely
Yeah,
try it.
awesome. Shall we have a look at the takeaway part where we give the phrases and vocabulary back to our listeners?
Absolutely, absolutely. Shall I start as usual, Jordan?
Go ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah? Cool. All right. First one, nice collocation when we were talking about weather in the Philippines and weather in the UK. So adjective hot, and then we made the noun phrase baking hot.
Mm,
Baking hot, which it's quite an unusual one. I think students would often say it's very hot or extremely hot.
yeah.
Baking hot is a really nice collocation, a really nice noun phrase.
Absolutely. Yes. The first one that I've got is you mentioned this about traveling to other countries. You mentioned that it's a craze that is happening, and it doesn't mean crazy. Of course, we're not describing a person or something, but a craze means that something is popular and people are doing it very often. Similarly, we can use a trend as well. But yeah, a craze is a great phrase to use.
Do you remember a craze? Well, I'm not sure how many years ago now, a craze called the Ice Bucket Challenge. Do you remember that
Yeah,
one?
of course, absolutely.
Did
Yeah,
you did you ever try that? Did you ever do
yeah, yeah,
it?
yeah. I did. Yeah,
Oh, did you? Oh,
yeah,
no way.
yeah.
Wow. There you go. So
Um,
that
in Japan, I did it in Japan. Yes.
there you go. So that's an example, isn't it? A good example of a craze, I think you could
Yes,
say. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Um, okay, the next one that I've got is a very nice expression that you can use to contrast two pieces of information. So
Mhm.
you say one thing, and then you say something else, and the something else is different from the first thing. So the expression is, but it turns out.
Mm,
So you said, I'm looking into getting my visa, but it turns out I need to leave the country to
yes.
renew my visa. So, but it turns out, a nice little expression that you can use to contrast two pieces of information.
Absolutely. Awesome. This one was brilliant. Is that again similar situation as the first one? You were talking about how many things people would do in that 24-hour period. And the expression that you used is that they would cram everything in to that one day. And it just means to do as much as possible. When we say cram everything in, it means within that one day, we don't leave any minutes or hours where we're not doing anything. We're always trying to do something enjoyable within that time limit. So yeah, cram everything in is a great phrase to use in that situation.
It's a good one. It's like when I left India, I went to India with half a suitcase and I bought so many things that I had to cram everything into my suitcase when I left, and I nearly didn't cram everything in. So, um, all right, the next one is a lovely word that you said. It's an informal. I think it must be a. I think it must be a British English word, but maybe you can correct me on that. And it's a word that means food,
Mm.
and it's grub.
Ah,
And
yes.
we often alliterate it, don't we, with good, because you got g
Yeah.
alliteration, good grub, and that's
Yes.
good grub. Is it? What do you think? Do you think it's British English? Do they say it
I
in America
believe
or
so.
Australia?
No, Australia. Yeah, that I don't know. You
I think
might,
they do, don't they?
yeah, you might have got me on that one. I think it might be Australian as well. Like it's used in Australia too. Um,
Hmm.
I think possibly some Americans are familiar with it and they do use it now. Uh, I do, however, believe it is from the UK. But I could be wildly wrong on this one. Yeah. I do know that it is definitely a British terminology that is used quite a lot. But
Yeah.
yes, the next one from yourself was when you said that you started getting parking fines again, or fines coming through the door. Um, Basically, this means that you stopped doing something and then you started it again, and that is reignited. You reignited your hobby of getting parking fines. Um, yes, when we reignite, it means we start something again. If you think of a fire that burns out and then you want to light that fire again, you reignite it, of course. Yes.
Nice, nice. The next one, staying on the theme of parking fines, which again is quite painful for me. This, I can't believe we're revisiting this topic. I feel my blood starting to boil again.
Yeah.
It's an adjective that you use that means crazy. If something is crazy, and I'm sure lots of students use the word crazy. It's quite a common word, isn't it?
Yes.
Ludicrous. It's
Ah,
ludicrous, which
yes.
you said, which is a great word. Again, another alternative that you can use for like a crazy, unusual situation. You can
Yes.
call the situation ludicrous.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, Another phrase that you used when you weren't expecting something um, is took me off guard. So took me off guard means that you were surprised by what you saw or what you experienced. So this one is a great one to use when you're not expecting something and then you experience it and it took you off guard. It surprised you. So yeah, that was a great phrase to use as well.
Nice. Okay, last one from me. This was a great expression that you used to add to something that I had said. So this expression might be useful in a debating situation, or certainly in a discussion, like a group discussion or a pair discussion. Um, touching on the point you made about.
Ah,
Touching on the point you made about.
yeah,
So I think we were talking about direwolves at that point, and
yes, mhm,
ethical sort of
yeah,
problems. And yeah, so I just really like that as a chunk of language, touching on the point you made about
absolutely.
plus.
And for anyone who is taking Cambridge tests, such as FCE, especially like the B2 levels, that chunk of language will be very, very, very helpful in the speaking part 3 and part 4, where you have to collaborate with your partner, because you're talking about what they said. So touching on the point you made about, yeah, it's a good one for those collaborative tests like Cambridge, of course. Indeed.
Perfect. Great point, Jordan. Great point.
And the last one that you mentioned, when talking about direwolves, you ended what you were talking about, and you said it throws up a lot of questions about ethical situation, or the ethics behind it. Um, this one is great. So when we say throws up a lot of questions, or throws up a lot of concerns, maybe as well, we can use that one. It just means that people need to discuss these questions, these concerns. There hasn't been much information released, or there hasn't been much discussion about particular questions so far. So when we say it throws up, it just means there are many things that need to be discussed.
Great. Amazing. Shall I recap?
Oh, yes, go ahead, please.
All right. So we had baking hot, we had a craze, we had but it turns out, to
Mm-hmm.
contrast, cram something in,
Mm-hmm.
good grub, reignite, ludicrous, took me off guard. So it took me off guard, something took me off guard. Touching on the point you made about,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you actually made the very, very valuable point there about Cambridge exams and that collaborative element of them. And the last one, it throws up a lot of questions.
Yes,
Amazing! What a great range of vocabulary and expressions today, Jordan.
absolutely. Lots of chunks as well, which I like.
Absolutely. I think the more the longer that you learn a language, any language, and you start to get better at learning, you start understanding that learning chunks of language is a lot more useful, isn't it, than just learning individual words, right?
Yeah, by far, by far. Yeah, much better. When you learn in chunks, it makes it so much more easier later on when you're using it for different situations as well. You can recall it, and okay, that language fits in that situation too. So yeah, chunks are very, very important to be learning by. Indeed, absolutely.
I think they're a good way to fast track your English as well, aren't they? I
Yes.
remember I remember when I was learning Polish, and I learnt some chunks, but I fell into the trap of reeling off this lovely, beautiful phrase, and then I got another phrase back in
Yes.
response, and I had no clue, what the person had said. But yeah, learning in chunks is useful. You've
Absolutely.
probably got to go now, right, and pick your daughter up.
I've got to go and pick up Sophia. Yes, she's
Yeah.
finishing school, and I believe you're off to work, aren't you? In a moment.
Yes, exactly. So we better finish. English to takeaway pod at gmail.com. If
Yes,
you've got any English language questions, any news stories that you've seen that you'd like us to discuss, please email in, and we would love to, yeah, accept your ideas and include them in the podcast.
sounds good to me. Awesome. Have a great day, mate, and I'll see you very soon. Of course.
Thank you, mate. Take care.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye
Bye.
bye.